Hello. Oh, hello. Hello, welcome to episode 2 of At the Movies. Of series 3 of At the Movies. Even though I haven't posted series 2 yet. Anyway, today, now, tonight, this morning, whenever you're watching this, we're going to be reviewing Twilight, Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Oh, come on! You like Twilight. Stop acting like it's the worst time in your life.
The act of splitting a story that was contained in one book into 2 movies, spreading out over 1 year to make just that extra bit more money. Well, it's true.
Just like Harry Potter, just like The Hobbit.
Hobbit is different. Deathly Hallows, much more intricate story. But yeah. Ow! She's literally just like grabbing my knee. Ah! I was so excited to see what would happen with. Love you.
He's read all the books and he loves Twilight. He just doesn't want to admit it in front of you guys.
Joke's on you, I already did that 2 videos ago. I didn't say I
like Twilight?
Didn't say I loved it, I said I like it. Yeah. I like the books a lot.
You like them books a lot?
I like the books a lot, I said. I like them books.
I like them books. You like the movies as well, so just admit it. And you've watched...
Honestly...
You watched the last one with me in the cinema.
Yeah. I know, we did a review of it on this channel.
I know. I'm just saying.
And I would say that the films have gotten worse as they... Well, not worse as they go on, but just not as good as they go on. Really, I thought the first one was the best one. I thought New Moon was pretty good. Eclipse was okay. Breaking Dawn Part 1 was not that good.
I thought it followed the book really well. That's the whole point. A lot of people didn't like the first part of Deathly Hallows because they found it boring. It was all sad and shit and not much action.
I think honestly, if they took...
that's the way the book is.
If they took Breaking Dawn and made one film of it, like 2.5 hours, it would have been really good. It would put it all into one film. It just felt a bit too dragged out at times. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, your thoughts on it?
And of course they want to make money. That's the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
If I was Stephanie Meyer writing a 5th book, it's a ton of money. Should fucking, you know.
Ah, but you shouldn't do it for the money.
Oh well. Anyways, it was part like the beginning. It really bugged me that they didn't do exactly what it was in the book, because I found her waking up, you know, as a newborn, was perfect in a book. Her being scared and moving around and being all like, oh, what the fuck's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And the family being there and everything. And then going out to hunt and stuff like that. I found that perfect. I don't know. Why did it have to do the things with the rock climbing? She didn't even get that far. She didn't even do the growling at Edward and stuff. And he wasn't like, what? Everyone was supposed to be really shocked because she was in such control of herself, and I didn't really make a big deal out of that in the movie, but that was a really big deal in the book. And they thought maybe that was her gift because she was disappointed she didn't have a gift like Edward did, like Alice did, like Jasper does. And then they found out that she does have a gift, that she's a shield. And that was... The way she showed her shield was actually exactly the way I pictured it in the book. Like, kind of like an invisible, like, force around her and stuff. And I'm so glad they put the ending in it. The ending. With her and Edward. That was really good. Now, however, big spoiler for whoever would want to watch Twilight in the future, but knowing who watches these reviews, you probably don't even give a shit about Twilight. Exactly, so I can just spoil whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I almost wrote a really angry letter to Stephanie Meyer for letting this happen to the movie, and that was the way they had to Hollywoodize the whole frickin' thing. Because in the end, there isn't a fight. They're simply just showing the Volturis that, okay, this is what's going on. Alright, this is an immortal child, which is the problem. The Volturi gets a message that they have an immortal child, which is a child that has been turned into a vampire, and those children, they never gain control over themselves, and they can manage to expose the vampires to the humans, which would be a very big problem. The Volturis don't like that, so they actually come to Forks to kill them. Alice sees in a vision. And, but in the book, some people come along and they're like, oh, it's not a mortal child. I'm one of those half human, half vampires. We stop aging at 17. What a perfect age, huh?
And
just where it all started.
And then they're just like, okay, then we'll leave you alone. The end.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, more or less. But it's very like, oh shit, in the book, because when you're inside Bella's head, everything gets more scary, because she's a terrified little girl, even though she's a vampire in this book. However, when Alice comes along, she shows, what's his name, Aro? The main vampire?
Michael Sheen.
Huh? Is he related to Charlie? Okay. So she shows him because he can see what people have seen and thought, but she can show him the future as well. She shows him that there's nothing dangerous going on with Renesmee and stuff, and she's got proof. And then she says, oh, it doesn't matter what I show you. You've made up your mind about having a fight. Then she turns around and she makes Bella tell Jacob to run away with Renesmee, and then they catch Alice, and Carlisle runs towards them because he wants to protect his little girl, in a way, and then Aro rips Carlisle's head off, and they kill him, and I was like, what? I was sitting there screaming. I had tears in my eyes. I had a lump in my throat. I was fucking furious because I thought they ruined the whole fucking thing.
Exaggerating slightly there. It was more of a quiet fury. You didn't scream like that. You just went, what? What are they doing?
In my head I was screaming.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what I said or did.
See,
I was in shock, and Luke was just sat there like...
See, my mum follows the films, and she's read the books as well, and she texted me to tell me if I minded her telling me what happens in the end. I said, yeah, fine, go on. So she told me what happens, so I knew. So it was fun seeing Connie's reaction, but honestly I thought that you would have clicked a lot sooner.
No.
And it didn't click to you till the very end, where you were like...
Where it was obvious.
Wait, what?
Because they even killed Jasper. They killed Seth. They killed, what's her name, Seth's sister. And I was sat there like, okay, fine, just kill all of them. Who fucking cares? Just kill them all. I don't care anymore. I was ready to, I was ready to turn the whole movie off, go on Facebook and go like, Twilight fucking sucks. How could they end it like this? I was furious. I was sat there and I was almost crying. I was so angry. Because they ruined the whole book.
Every time she looked at me, I was like...
trying to keep it together, because he fucking knew. And I was being tortured.
You knew, didn't you?
Uh-huh. And then, when it's all over, and Aro actually dies, because I was like, oh, okay, so they're going to let Bella and Edward live. Who cares? They're just killing everyone. They killed Carlisle. What? They killed Seth. What did Seth do? It was just a little boy, you know? And then...
It was a vision.
Poof, it was a vision. Alice had shown Aro what would happen if he actually went through with the fight. That's your future. And he was like, oh. I'm getting chills as I'm sat here.
To give it credit, it was a vision. It was a fuck you to the audience that went on for like 5 minutes. It was a huge scene. It just went on forever. So I guess it was, you know...
I thought it was brilliant.
If they were going to do it, they did it, you know, as over the top and as big as they could.
Yeah, because nobody died. They had to Hollywoodize it. People would hate the movie. They'd be like, oh, it's building up to this big fight and nothing happens. Yeah, it would suck. And I thought they did it really well. I thought they were going to have a fight. I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, they're going to have a fight. You know? But I didn't think anyone would die. So Carlisle got his head ripped off and I was like...
Oh shit.
Oh, if I would have known Stephanie Meyer's email, I would have done so much just to find it to go like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Here you go. You made this brilliant series of books and you fucked it up. What the fuck?
But that wasn't the case. So
I know, and then
I know.
I think it was really well done, cause not only were you shocked when people died, but then the bigger shock came when you were like, nobody died.
Yeah, I think for people
and a relief. I actually cried after that.
I think
because I was so happy.
I think for people who had never read the books, it was probably like a great ending. But they probably were just like losing their shit, just like, oh my god. But apparently even people who have read the book are like, what?
Well, they have fucked up a lot of other stuff. They have, in a way. You know?
What would you rate it?
Ugh, I don't even remember what I rated part 1. Well, the thing is, I think the acting just got worse and worse for every movie. I thought maybe they would start to get some chemistry. The only ones who had chemistry was Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart. I can never get it right. Kristen and Kristen. I think it's Kristen. You know, even though that went shitty in the end. But that was after the movie. Because in the movie, they were actually a couple. So it's, you know, easy for them to have great chemistry. But the rest, I find like the rest of the Cullen family, whenever they're together, is really awkward. It's like they don't want to be there. It's like they're not really believing what they're playing and stuff. And that was ever since New Moon. I thought that the acting wasn't really that good. It was just, you know, like individually they weren't good either. I just found Bella and Edward good together. Like, they should be in the book. But the acting really lets the whole movie down. A lot of the CGI is fucking horrible.
Oh god, yeah, the fact
the baby.
Yeah, we talked about this in the part 1 where the baby was, you know, her face was digital, just digital.
Oh, horrible.
And in this film, obviously, Renesmee grows up quite quickly from being a baby to being like a 10-year-old girl. And there's a girl who plays her when she's 10 years old. But in between that, it's all just digital face, digital face, digital face. And it just looked like crap. It looked like a video game. It looked like a video game. And it was just weird. I just thought, get like a girl who's 5 or something, I don't know. And then at the end there was a scene where you see like the future where she's grown up or she's 17. And again, digital face. But yeah, and the wolves and stuff. I don't think they ever really got the wolves right. In terms of like, I said this again I think in the part 1 review. The wolves look great up close when it's like a close-up shot. But like when they're moving and it's a wide shot, they don't look real.
It does look video game.
Yeah.
Ish, but the wolves is what I'm the most happy with the CGI. The baby, but I understand it's a lot harder to do actually do a human than to do animals.
Yeah, they should have left that alone, I think, and just gone with an actual person. How hard can it be to find a 5-year-old girl with, you know, similar hair or whatever? You know, there you go. Yeah.
They wanted her to look like Bella and stuff, so.
I would say I'd give this maybe like a 5 out of 10. And I say that because I think the first film's really good, and I'd probably only rate that like an 8 or something.
You have to compare it to the book as well.
As a film overall, I'd give it a 5. It wasn't the worst film I've ever seen. It wasn't terrible, but there was a lot of things in it that were just like.
But I know you rated the other Twilight movies more, and they're worse in a way.
I wouldn't say so. What would you rate it anyway?
I'm torn between a 7.5 and a 7.5, I think.
It also feels like the whole thing is just kind of like burned down a bit. Like the first film came out and I watched it before any of this big fuss about it, and I thought, oh, that was a really good film, I enjoyed that a lot. Making a second one, cool, I'm looking forward to it. And then by the time the second film came out, there was this huge thing where it was all girls loving it, and just like it became this big phenomenon. And then, you know, the second film happened, it was, you know, it was pretty good, not as good as the first one. Third one came out and it was just even bigger, it was like a worldwide thing. And it was like, it's getting a bit much now. There's, you know, gratuitous shots of Taylor Lautner without his top on, and the girls are screaming in the audience.
That was the second one.
Oh, that was the second one, yeah. Well, there's shots in the third film like that as well, and it's just kind of like, it seems like it's becoming more about that than the actual books and stories, and
the fifth.
The whole just teen pop culture thing about it. And then they make the last two films, and of course, you know, Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson have gone on record saying, well, not gone on record, but from, you can understand from the way they respond in interviews that they're sick of it now, and they were glad to finish it. And it must be tough, I guess, to be in something like that where you get so much attention, but at the same time. And of course they have their breakup this year, the whole thing where she was so stupid to not only cheat on him, but to cheat on him with someone in a park in LA, I think it was LA somewhere, where you're definitely going to be photographed. Someone's going to see you and get a phone out at least. And she's there, oh. I think them getting back together just before the premiere of the film, I think that was a publicity thing. If it's not, he is a fucking idiot, because she screwed him over big time when she did it in a very public way, which is just unbelievable. And it just, yeah, it just feels like it kind of petered out a bit at the end. But, you know, it's...
Well, I've been together for like 4 or 5 years, I guess. You know, Hollywood
the films aren't,
relationships never last.
It's not the worst series of films ever, you know. You know, they beat Troll 1 and 2, but...
This review's over.
So 7.5, is that what you're going to give your final rating?
Yeah, I'm tempted to give an 8 as well, but
when you go back...
Because the twist was so brilliant, I had to watch it again the day after, because I wanted to actually sit and enjoy the fight and watch it and like look at everything and, you know, enjoy it for what it was. Because when I was sat there watching it, I just wanted to turn it off because I was pissed off. I thought it followed it pretty well. Yeah,
but I just think it could have been snappier if it was one film. Like, you know, the beginning, she's a vampire, and then she's like finding her feet, and then pretty much it's just kind of that period until the end. Really, it was kind of quite stretched out, I thought. And
but it is in the book as well.
I know it is in the book as well.
It's the exact same way in the book.
I know, but
it's stretched out in so many other movies as well that are based on books. Harry Potter is a very good example.
No, because there's always something happening in that.
Part 1. Not much happening, no.
Alright, well, whatever.
I remember a lot of people who hadn't read the books were sat there and like, oh, it was so boring. And I was like, you haven't read the book! It's
brilliant.
It follows the book so well, and that's the way it's got to be, because it's building up to part 2. Fuck off. Well, it's the same with Twilight.
Well, yeah.
If you don't like it, then just don't watch it then. Stop complaining.
But it felt like both parts, part 1 and part 2, had a lot of big spaces where not much was happening, and it was like say Kill Bill 1 and 2. Kill Bill 1 is like, you know, action stuff going on. The second one is more slower and more story based, but there was no kind of balance, I felt. But then again, same with the story. But if they had it all in one film, then it would have felt a bit more, I think.
There's too much going on. Especially in Kill Bill,
come on! No, I'm not saying Kill Bill should have been one film, I'm saying that the Breaking Dawn would have been. It was a comparison. Anyway, this review's gone on very long. So, one last question for you, because I know you're a bigger fan of the films than I am, even though I do really like them. When you go back now, after this all finished now, and you rewatch the films in years to come, which film do you think you'll go to more? Or, you know, or are you just going to like marathon them every time you watch them?
Well, the thing is, before New Moon came out, I probably watched the first one like 20 times. Well, because I watched it like between 5 and 10 times before I read the book. And then when I read the book, I liked the movie even, well, I didn't, but I had to watch it again. And then I read the book again, and I had to watch it again. It's like, that's the kind of, it's the first one that I go back to all the time, though there's like no action in it. But it's the story that I like in it, because it's boy meets girl. A lot of girls like that. Some guys do, because you like the first one as well.
Yeah, I liked it. See, Ben said when it first came out, he went, and there was no like buzz about it, apart from the fans. There was no big worldwide thing. And Ben was like, "Oh yeah, it's a really good film, man. It's a really good film." And I was like, "Oh, it's a chick film." I said, "No, it's really good." Now it's like, "Fuck Twilight, oh fucking girls," you know. So it's the kind of pressure I think that, you know, guys can't like it, or, you know, just the kind of the teen girls thing.
Definitely.
So there you go.
But the first one is the one that I'm always going to go back to, even though there's not much going on. And then I think the second one, I think I like New Moon better than Eclipse.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a tie between Part 2 and Eclipse. Maybe. And then Part 1. Or maybe a tie between all those three. I'm not sure, because I've seen the first one so many times, and it's like Lord of the Rings. You can watch The Fellowship so many times. I watched it 3 times in the cinema, and I don't know how many times I watched it after that. But every time I tried to watch Two Towers and Return of the King, I turned it off halfway through, because I'd be like, oh, I can't be bothered anymore. It's enough of that. You know, they're great movies, but it's like, orcs, okay, yeah, more orcs, oh, just throw them on them, oh, the ring, and, you know, the first one is the best one. I can watch The Fellowship so many times, and I won't be bothered with watching the rest, because I know what happens in the end.
Well, we covered this in the Epic Film Challenge. The first one's my favourite, and obviously yours, but I wouldn't say
you can't compare.
I wouldn't say that 2 and 3 are just, oh, some walks. I love them, but
I know, but I feel like it's much the same. It's like, I don't even remember which war is in which movie.
Okay,
when.
Let's just zip it now.
No, but I haven't read the book either.
It's 22 minutes. It's going to take ages to upload. Yeah.
Not here.
Not here, no, but I won't be able to render it in time, because I've got to leave in the morning. So.
True. The first one is probably because that's where I got the first impression.
Okay.
So the first one is the best one, though I will watch the second one again soon.
Well, thank you for watching. And next time we see you...
Better quality.
What, you mean because we watched it on an illegally downloaded pirate copy? And didn't watch it in
What?
the cinema because we haven't got enough money?
What?
Is that what you meant? Because we weren't actually at the movies, but we're still reviewing it anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll buy the Blu-ray anyway.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's not like, just because we downloaded it now doesn't mean that we've broken the rules, because we're going to buy it anyways. It's just that it's not available right now.
See, we could have just left it at that, but you just kind of had to embellish and dig the hole deeper. See, if anyone from Summit Entertainment is watching this right now, we would get a slap on the wrist.
Thank you for watching.